Alright guys, so today we're going to be working on this tractor, this Kubota here. Um, we've been running this tractor for about 20 years, and I only really started greasing the bushings, the pins here, like a couple years ago, so we basically ran this machine for I don't think anybody else has been greasing it, maybe once or twice, but we basically ran it for 2 decades without greasing the pins, and so now they're worn out. When this bucket, if you raise it off the ground a little bit, and then you can move it by hand and like shake it back and forth, and you can like shake the whole thing back and forth a few inches. It's getting pretty loose. It's not good, and it's like if you use the handle there to raise the bucket, it acts kind of weird now. It's like delayed. So it's definitely getting pretty worn out, and what I'm worried about is, I'm sure you could keep using it like this for years, but if they get worn out of round enough, eventually what will happen is the steel holding it in will start to wear out, and then you're really kind of screwed, because that's a way more expensive, difficult repair than just replacing the pins. So I'm hoping that we can just get these pins replaced, and yeah, it's amazing like how long these machines can run with like no maintenance. It's pretty amazing. I think that's kind of what the tractors are made for, like to be, simple farm tools that you don't have to worry about, like anybody can fix, and you don't really need to fix most of the time. It just works forever kind of deal. So we got some pins here in the mail. I basically ordered every pin. So there's one there. Oh, my camera keeps freezing. One pin here, one pin there, one here, one there. Then there's one there and one there. And these back ones are pretty good. I don't think they're really loose. The ones that are the loosest are these front ones. And then the next loosest are these. And then like as you go back, they pivot less than the front ones. I think that's why they're less worn out. So anyway, I just looked at a video online. I think all you got to do is basically take this bolt out, and then it'll just tap out. The only complication at all would be the weight of this piston and this bracket. Because if one is pushing on the other, it'll be hard to get the pin in and out. So I'm probably just going to raise it up a little bit and set it on some blocks, and try to sort of get it so that there's no tension on it, There's a lot of movement in there, so. Alright, so it's hard to see, but this nut is, you can't turn it because there's a piece of metal here. And on the back side there's a nut that you can't get a socket on. So I've just got a 7/16, seems to fit all right. And I'm just going to turn this nut off the other side, which is also very tight and rubbing against the metal, but you can just turn it. So I'll spare you guys. It's probably going to take me a while to get that off of there. Alright, it's almost all the way out, and it's starting to move a little bit. The whole joint is starting to move like it's about to come free. So, see that? It's moving. There's the money shot here. Everybody likes a money shot. If you lube these regularly, then they pretty much should last forever, theoretically. Oh, there goes the nut. Oh, okay, it's on the ground. There we go. A little bit bent, but it should serve fine for this purpose. If you could replace it with a new one, that would be good, but I don't think it's necessary. Just got to hold that bushing in there. So it is bent. It's okay though. We can always straighten it with a hammer, you know? Hammer on it. Hammer on it, dude. Alright, so the Zerk fitting is on this side, so you don't want to hammer on that. This side is flat. And I couldn't find oh, there we go. Oh, right out. Look at that. Oh, that's so nice. It's so nice when things just work. I'm a little bit afraid of this thing flopping around when it comes out all the way, but we can deal with that. And also this piston, I don't know if it'll like shoot in or out or something when it comes free, so I'm just going to be a little careful here. Keep your arms and hands clear, you know. Actually, this is holding it in place. Oh my god, that's so funny. Like it was meant to be. Alright. Oh yeah. So, let's get one of our greasy rags here. And hopefully, it's actually this pin that's worn out and not the bucket frame. That would be unfortunate because this pin actually looks pretty okay. Well, I guess we'll find out in a minute. Let's see here. Really looks pretty fine. Looks pretty round. I don't really see any wear on it. It did feel sloppy though, so here's the old and the new. Maybe it's round, but it's just wore down, you know? So it's thinner. So this, I was going to double check what parts go where, because they have a nice diagram, the company that sent this out. Oh, so we need to take this Zerk fitting out too and put it in the new one. Probably should have taken that out while I was in there, because I'm going to have to clamp it now to get a grip on it. So I guess that's the next step. Or we could do it after we put the new one in, I guess. So I was going to look at a diagram to see which part goes where, but I mean, sure looks like this one is the same, doesn't it? It's pretty simple stuff, these tractors, most of the time. So there's the old and the new. So yeah, the Zerk fitting went this way, so I'm going to put it in the same way. And it's got a taper on this end, so that's the end you want to hammer through because it's not lined up perfectly, so that'll help it line up. So let's get this in here. And let's jack up the bucket a little bit, see if we can get it to line up. More. Almost. Let me get my, maybe if I pry this, oh yeah. There we go. Look at that. Man, that was actually a lot easier than I thought it might be. I'm sure some of the others will be harder. I should have lined up this hole first because now it's going to have to spin in there to get that hole lined up. Maybe I'll take it back out. Figure that out. Okay, so the hole is here, so let's put it in that way so that it's at least pretty close. Pretty close. I think if I okay, I just need to turn it a little bit. If I could reach in there, I'm gonna look for like a nail or something to reach in and grab that hole and turn it so it matches. All right, so I got the Zerk fitting out with a 8mm deep socket. It was so loose that I thought it actually wasn't fitting on because it didn't feel like it was grabbing, but it was actually just super loose. So we're going to screw that into the new one. Hopefully it doesn't fall into the socket before it grabs the thread. Probably. Go. It is a little crusty, but you know, it's a tractor, so. Oh, this will spin the pin too. Look at that. I didn't even, I got some coat wire to line it up, but it's lined up now. Alright. Oh yeah, so I was also looking at this old bushing or pin or whatever it's called. Journal bearing technically, I suppose, I don't know. So you can see these wear marks there, that band, and then here, it's like I can feel from here to here, it gets bigger, and from here to here, it gets bigger. Like this band and this band are sticking out farther than these shiny surfaces next to them. So it is worn down a little. I'd say, you know, 0.5 millimeter or something it feels like. So I'm glad it is worn down at least a little bit, because I know the bucket's not supposed to be that sloppy feeling. Alright, I used a small sledgehammer on the vise, and it's straighter. It's still not perfectly straight. I'm afraid to hammer on it too much and mess up the threads. If we could just get it to go through here, it'll be alright. There we go. You can feel it engaging now. Let's give it a little turn. It's 11 mil. Use the threads to get it through that orifice down there. Oh yeah. Get out of here, fly. Oh, so nice. So nice when stuff works. Okay. Get the nut on here. I know you guys can't really see it, but you guys know how nuts work. I'll show you how nuts work. Oh, God. Okay. Get you guys a better angle. All right. Of course, I'm wearing my good jeans. I'll go change after this and do the other side. This is some high-grade steel, these bolts. I've never had to hammer that hard to bend a bolt before. I'm typically used to like car grade hardware. This tractor grade seems a little stronger. It's pretty unbelievable how hard I had to hammer on such a thin bolt to bend it straighter. This 11 is like very tight fitting to get it on and off of there. Had a hammer. Hammer in the morning. Hammer in the evening. How does this song go? I'll show you where I ordered the parts from too, because they had like good diagrams and stuff. So I knew that I was ordering the right thing. Oh, is that it? No? There's some metal there that's keeping it from spinning when it gets tight. There we go, that's pretty tight. Nice, alright, so now, how about now? So the final thing we want to do here is to make sure we grease this before we forget about it. So I'm going to run over and get my grease gun. So I finally made the connection. I've been making all sorts of connections lately. My brain is getting smarter by the day, which is quite frightening, to be honest. But you know, the grease gun, the submachine gun in like some video games. I just realized they called it that because they took a grease gun factory and basically converted it to make submachine guns. Like this casing size is the exact same size and shape as the grease gun. So that's why they called it that. Okay. Shove it on there. 2 pumps. 3 pumps. Grease is coming out both sides. That should be plenty. This thing is... I used to be stronger, but now I'm, afraid to pull too hard because my joints get hurt these days when I do that. So, gotta be a little more patient. There we go, not injure myself. Okay, sweet. Well, that went better than expected. Yeah, go do the next one. All right, I've officially got my dirty pants on for work. Just wanted to show you guys this sledgehammer. It's nothing special, but I worked on cars for like 15 years without a sledgehammer for some reason, and it basically changed my life. It really is extremely useful in a lot of situations. Another tip that I figured out, I've got a torn rotator cuff in my right arm, so I have to be very careful with my right arm not to lift too much weight or exert too much force. I saw this really big, strong muscle guy in a gym one time talking about torn rotator cuff. And he basically said that if you keep your elbow close to your side, it helps it recover. Which I've also found that hanging my arm off of stuff, like without my body weight, but just put my arm above my head and hang on to something, really makes it feel better. That's just me. There's a lot of types of rotator cuff tears. It's a whole muscle group, it's not just one muscle. But, let's see here. Let's take out this Zerk fitting first. Completely loose, just like the other side. Just came right out with no force whatsoever. So for me, my rotator cuff, I find when I reach for things in front of me, it really hurts it sometimes. Like I just reached up to change the radio in my truck, to change the radio station, and it hurt my rotator cuff so bad a few months ago. I think it was like healing, and I tore like a major thing that was healing basically. So you have to be very careful with it. It wants to heal. It's just hard to do stuff and not hurt it, It's good to support it and keep it in a sling sometimes. It's also good to move it around because that helps blood flow. You just don't want to move it in any way that's painful if you can avoid it. But I've got like a little tent sauna from Amazon. And it was pretty cheap, like $120 or something, which is I really like, especially in the wintertime. Get up and jump in the sauna and kind of charges me up for the day. I put a bike lock cable across the ceiling of it so that I can just reach up and hold onto it with my torn rotator cuff arm. And I swear it takes away like all of the pain. Which I need to do that after this because it's been hurting for like, I've been away for like a week and a half, 2 weeks. I forget how long now. This one came out much easier. I don't think this one's bent. No, this one's straight. Looks like this level indicator's broken off. I can weld that on easy. That'll be another thing we can do. I don't know how much I'm going to do today though. It might just be these 2 pins because I've got a lot of stuff to do. I've got to get ready for the podcast tomorrow. It's called Good Morning Lads, if you guys want to watch it. Pretty much the best podcast there is, just saying, you know. Let's grab our new in the box one over here. Make sure it looks pretty similar to the old one, you know. Yano, that's what the Canadians say. Yano. Okay, where to begin? Let's take everything off the bucket so it doesn't go flying away. And there she goes. Oh, this one's more worn than the other one was. So, check our parts. Make sure it looks like it's the same part. Yeah, that's like 3/4 of a millimeter. Oh, it's unevenly worn. That's what I wanted to see. Because the bucket was moving so weirdly, I wanted to see some strange wear. Like there's no wear on this side, and this side is worn heavily, more than the other one was. And this left side is not worn. Oh, I can feel a tiny bit. 1/4 mil. I don't know about thousandths, like real machine shop guys. So, although I wouldn't mind machine shop, I did really enjoy the lathe in high school. I'm so lucky. In 7th grade in high school, I got to have wood class and metals class the last year before they cut the funding for it. And they were pretty much my favorite classes I've ever taken. They were so fun. I really love the lathe and woodworking. And let's make sure that hole is lined up actually. And in metals, my favorite thing to do was to heat up bar stock red hot and hammer on it and bend it. It's just really fun to do. So I've got an old oxy torch that's been in the shed for pretty much my whole life that we've never used that I could maybe get working. Okay. Come on there. Oh yeah. Oh, look at that. You won't believe it. The hole lined up. I really amaze myself sometimes. Get this in here. It's going about 10 times faster than the other side. That's how it goes. Usually the second time is a lot faster once you know what you're doing. Zerk fitting in there. Nice, nice, brother. In there like swimwear. Tight is tight. Do not need to over tighten. A lot of beginner mechanics over tighten at everything. It's kind of a pain to work on their stuff. Especially like oil drain plugs. Like, they don't need to be that tight. I've had them like there's no load on them, you know? They're not holding anything together. It's like it's just a liquid seal. It doesn't need to be that tight. I've seen the tightest oil plugs. Ridiculously tight. You get a feel for it after a while, like based on the size of the bolt. You basically know how tight you can make it before it starts stripping or making that bad noise when you loosen it, that cracking noise. Pretty much means it's too tight. It's also good to grease every bolt that you put in. That way it doesn't rust into place. This bolt's already got grease on it from these bushings. That's good. Well, that one was much easier with that nice unbent bolt. Yeah, I've got a theory too about why machine shops call bolts screws and everybody else calls them bolts. So a bolt, like for a crossbow, is a long, smooth shaft, and bolts, compared to screws, have much finer threads. So when you look at a bolt from a distance, the threads are so fine it almost looks like a long, smooth shaft, like a bolt. Whereas a screw has such coarse threads that you can even see from a distance that it's a screw. So I think that's why they call them that. I think that's why people call them bolts. Alright, let's grease this up. And I might even go for the lower ones, now that I'm on a roll here. I wonder if they're the same. Yeah, they look the same. I just gotta calculate, you know, how much energy I have for today and how much time I have. Because I often get too excited about stuff and then use all my energy, and then I got none left to clean and prepare for the next day and stuff like that. But it does seem to be going pretty well. Okay, grease coming out this side. Should be enough for now. About 3 pumps. Okay. Come on. That bug on the ground. That's the same bug I found in my ear when I woke up one night a while ago. It's got like the 2 points on the back end. Gross. Is that an earwig? I think it might be. There we go. Maybe that's why they're called earwigs. I literally woke up in the middle of the night and it felt like there was water in my ear, and I was like dancing on my side to get the water out. And it had the same feeling as water coming out, but then an earwig came out, so that was nice. Alright, sweet. Those are all done. And let's see here if I can show you. This is where I ordered from. My number and everything up there, but that's Coleman Equipment Incorporated, ColemanEquip.com, out of Kansas. Oh yeah, the bucket. Well, let's see here. Oh, that's way better. That's amazing that, you know, 1/4 millimeter, 1/2 millimeter can make so much difference. That's pretty awesome. Well, Well, I probably should just do the smart thing and because my knee is already starting to hurt. So even though I do want to do the rest of them, or at least the bottom two, because they're the same style, I'm probably just going to leave it there for today. So check this out. This is the bushing, the pin from the second one I did from the right side. This one was worse because I didn't give you guys a good view of it. So it feels smooth here, but on this side it feels really worn. And you can really see it on camera even, which is any piece of machinery that's visibly worn is like extremely worn. But anyway, my point is it feels like a big step down right there. And on this side it feels smooth. So basically what that means is this was stuck in place, likely because it hadn't been greased for a long time. Alright, I lied. I'm going to keep working on it. I raised up the bucket because it's going pretty quick. It's going pretty quick. And I don't like being inside. I don't know why. If I'm not outside working on something, I just don't feel good for some reason. So, and the other thing is, even though my knee does hurt, I've got a torn PCL. In the past, oh my god, this thing's all messed up. I didn't even know that. The grill's all bashed in here. In the past, when my knee hurt from doing stuff, when I did stuff for long enough, for like days or weeks of steady, I was skateboarding, so I really like skateboarding. And even though it hurt my knee to do it, after a few weeks of doing it, it stopped hurting. So sometimes it's just a matter of carefully not hurting it too much as you build up the strength, you know? So that's sort of my theory there on that. Careful to keep my right elbow close to me for the most part. Except for when I'm doing controlled stretches that don't hurt it. Okay, that one's tough. There we go. Oh yeah, the bucket moved much nicer also when I picked it up. There wasn't like a delay like there was before. So it's already feels better to move the bucket with just those two pins replaced. So I'm excited to get them all replaced. It's been 20 years, you know. And we've worked this thing probably harder than it was made to be worked. We really should probably have a bigger tractor. We used to have a bigger one, but we shared it, and I don't know where it went. We used to trailer it around to different properties of friends that we had. I wanted to turbo this tractor too with my old broken Audi turbo. I had to take the turbo off that and turbo this because it would have been sweet. So now with the bucket this high, I'm not going to be able to use the jack to take the pressure off the joint. So I have to be a little more careful. Oh, this pin is straight, so that's nice. That one didn't bend. How's the camera framing look? Not too bad. Alright. take the Zerk out first? I probably should. And I put that wrench. I started putting my tools away. Oh, here's the rag and everything. That's where I put it. There she is. There she blows. So it actually had some tight tension on it. The other ones were completely loose. There you go. I don't want to hammer on the end of this because I don't want to bend those tips. Get it in there one of these tries. There we go. I am aware there's a big heavy bucket above my head, so I know that's not the smartest thing. You know what? I am going to hammer on this thing. It was a cheap Harbor Freight thing. Actually, I got a wood block I can use that won't even hurt it. And this will temporarily take the place of the pin so the bucket doesn't fall. Oh my god, that is terrifying though. Okay. There we go. Hello! Occupado. Take a gander at this one. This one, oh, this is interesting. So this came off the same side that had the unevenly worn other pin. This pin is also unevenly worn in the same way, but worse. It's pretty, I'd say 3/4 of a millimeter wear on two sides, and then like the opposite wear on the other. No, it's smooth on one side. Yeah, so it was uneven on this side too. Can't even rip this plastic open. My fingers are getting so weak these days. It's like my fingers aren't weak, but if I put too much force on them, the joints hurt. So, alright. So, make sure these look... Oh my god, look at that! Wow! Alright. I'll show you guys a closer look at this one. This one is pretty bad. I zoomed out here. Look at the difference in the center channel of these. Look at that. This center channel is like half the size on that side. It's been worn in so much. It's hard. Yeah, right there. Right there. It's very, very worn down. On this side, it's fine. This is pretty unevenly worn, which is bad and good. It's bad that it happened, but it's good that, in the way that I know that a new part will fix the problem that we were having. So, looking at this side, the flat end is in, so I'm going to put the flat end facing in. Line up the hole for the bolt as best I can. And then hammer on it, you know? Yeah, I started saying that from Zoltan, like the comedian. He's a real funny stand-up comedian. But he goes, yeah, I know. And so he infected me and I can't stop saying it. And I kind of hate it, but you know. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Nope. It's not lined up enough for that to go in. There we go. Still no. Oh, let me get the, I don't want to hit it with a sledgehammer and bend it, although I'm sure it'd be fine because it's a tractor, but, you know. What I could do, oh, my shoulder, that's not good for my shoulder. I gotta get the jack and a piece of wood. He's right here. That'll be pretty good. So, what we need to do is I guess the bucket needs to go up. Now my ankle's starting to hurt, so maybe this will be the last joint for today. Come on. Starting to move a little bit. Doesn't make a difference. Let's try raising the other part. Jack is starting to not work sometimes now. I've had it for a long time. Okay. That's better. That might work, but now the bucket needs to come that way, and I don't know how I'm going to do that. So hopefully that just goes in. Actually, if I... Oh, it's got a little bit of... If I had a pipe on that, maybe I could... Oh, there we go. There she goes. Benissimo. I had to pull back on the pickle fork and it lined up. Alright. There she goes. Alright. Sweet. Now, put in our grease fitting. It is so crusty. I'm going to wipe this one off. It's so crusty. It just pains me to thread in crusty threads, even if it is a tractor. Put that down. Smegma off of there. Okay. Still a little bit crusty, but not nearly as bad. Oh! All right. Sweet. So, basically spin that around until this bolt hole lines up. There's something wrong with that too. I mean, this tractor needs all sorts of stuff. I've got endless projects to work on around here. My parents don't really do mechanic work, so pretty much all their stuff needs it. There we go. And which direction is it in? The other side's in facing upwards. I'm going to put this one in upwards to match. Like so. Perfect. Oh, I don't even need a wrench. It's actually spinning on pretty far. Okay. Okay. There she is. Toy like a toyga. Toy like a toyga. Where's that grease gun? I put some grease in here. There we go. One. Oh, this thing always comes loose. The end of the grease gun. Make sure I can see some grease coming out somewhere in the joint. 2, 3, that should be enough. 3 full pumps. Should be, I'll just do one more. Should see it coming out somewhere to know it's enough, but it was enough on all the other ones, 2, 3, so 4 full pumps, and it's probably just coming out somewhere where I can't see it. So, whoa! Alright. So that's good. And I would love to do the last 4th pin to match, but now my ankle started hurting, and I gotta be really careful because that's been my worst injury lately. So the fact that I could even work for half a day without any ankle pain is very nice. So I'm not gonna push it. So I'll see you guys next time.